Hey Dylan, back again. There it is. There's your logo. It was a sketch, now it's digitized. In this video, I'm going to go over the decisions I made in digitizing this logo, as well as getting into the typefaces. So let's quickly go over how this was constructed. Of course, we got the two circles, which create the border, and the speech bubble arrow, which is made up of a perfect triangle. And if you draw a diagonal line through the middle of the circle, this point matches up. Just something that may or may not be subconsciously received. And then the bowl of the head of the lamp, if you complete this curve and it touches this, just another one of those things that might be picked up. And that bowl is centered inside this circle. And adding the rest of the geometry, you'll like this. All of these points have the same width, so the neck of the lamp matches the width of this border, as well as these two parts of the triangle, and even this open space here. And lastly, the bars will evenly step up through the center of the opening of the lamp. And cleaning all that stuff up, filling it in, there's one more thing. It's these really sharp points here. They get so thin that they won't show up when printed, and print's not a big thing for you, but even on low resolution screens it may not show up. So for consistency, I just rounded off those edges, and there you have your logo. But we're not getting into color yet, so back to gray. Now we're getting into typography. So I gathered many typefaces, and I chose my top 6 here, and they're all caps variations. One thing about all caps is that it's on the downtrend right now. It has been for a long time, because it's always read as something being yelled. In text messages, it's all caps. It means it's being yelled. So it's like guided gains instead of guided gains. My top 2 picks were actually number 1 and 2. On the left, we've got Avenir, which is a very popular font, very common font. And then on the right, we've got Insignia, which is a bit more stylized. I like this one because the G, the D, the E, the A, they all have this, they exemplify this like roundness, which matches the roundness of your logo. The A, though, could be seen as an O if you zoom out far enough, so there's a little bit more readability with Avenir. But the biggest difference is that Avenir's bolded, which kind of makes it joined to the logo, because the logo is very bold. It's good quality to have. The advantage of having thinner type is that it allows the logo to stand on its own, and this kind of becomes a secondary thing. So both have their pluses and minuses. But both of these typefaces have a tall X height, which make these lowercase letters much taller and easier to read, and that's something that's also on the uptrend. And another important thing to look at is the G. This G becomes a part of your brand, and I'll show you the things that I like about both of them. Number 1 is really cool. If you flip the G and rotate it, then it matches the composition of your logo. I think that's super cool. And then for Insignia, it kind of looks like the power symbol, which brings some more messaging. Not completely accurate to your business, but it brings some good messages. Anyways, let's get into taglines. The thing about taglines is that it has to be a less interesting typeface, less interesting font than the title used, and these are both pretty standard fonts. So I just use another Avenir lighter for number 1, and for number 2 I use something called NTR, which looks very similar, but it's actually has rounded edges, is a little more stylish, to match number 2's, to match Insignia. And we've got the horizontal orientation, which allows the title to be a little bit bigger, and the tagline. And so those are my 2 choices. This is the one that I like the most, but as always, let me know what your thoughts are, and which way you want to move forward. And yeah, I'll see you next time. All right, see you, Dylan.